Hi everyone, this is my pedagogical tool review of Paradigm Online Writing Assistant. As both the popularity and availability of distance education continues to rise, it's imperative that writing instructors keep an eye on both extant and emerging pedagogical tools so we can continue to provide students with the most effective options for learning writing in our contemporary, technologically driven world. And there are arguably few other disciplines that are as impacted by online learning technology as much as writing. Indeed, Joyce Neff and Carl Whithouse argue that the ability to write well has never been more important. In today's technology-driven economy, more people than ever are required to use the written word. Businesses want employees who can write, and colleges want to graduate students who can write. It is with this exigence in mind, then, that I reviewed the Paradigm Online Writing Assistant website. Paradigm Online Writing Assistant was created by Chuck Guilford. He's an emeritus professor at Boise State University. He's got 30 years experience teaching English comp, creative writing, and literature at both the graduate and undergraduate level. He's also a longtime member of the NCTE as well as the 4Cs. So it's based on his rather impressive educational and professional background that I reserved pretty high expectations for this website that he had designed in order to help create a place to help teach writing online. Paradigm Online Writing Assistant essentially offers strategies for mastering the writing process. It includes help with discovering, organizing, revising, and editing writing. It also has chapters on thesis. It has a lot of information on different types of essays, informal, exploratory, and argumentative. In addition, it basically offers a clear, concise discussion of some of the more frequent MLA format for citation and documentation. The site offers the user an intuitive, relatively logical, easy to navigate platform. The main writing topics are listed across the top of the screen, oriented left to right, and it's in a scaffolded learning order. Within each of these topics are several subtopics relating to that given writing stage. For instance, under invention, it deals with things such as choosing your topic, free writing, the journalist questions. Dramatism is championed by Kenneth Burke, Tagmemics. And basically, if you just click on one of these, it gives you first an overview and a lesson about that particular process, such as free writing. It then gives activities for the learner to actually try and practice these different techniques that he's advocating. The second tab, Arrange, basically deals with helping to flesh out that selected topic. It has activities and lessons for mind mapping, networking, developing paragraph order. The Revision tab, that covers things such as developing your style, expanding your audience perspective, context, writer's voice, creating emphasis, how to basically tighten up a work, designing effective sentences, and of course choosing the best word. The Editing tab is just as you would think. Basically, it deals with issues such as grammar, sentence concepts, 6 common problem areas, punctuation issues, capitalization, and I liked how he included a note on spelling where basically he addresses the issue with most word processing spell checkers and how ineffective they can be. And I think for beginning writers, that's an important aspect that they do need to go over. The next tab we have is the Reflecting tab, and basically this is all about writing a story, constructing a montage, how to use metaphorical language, and then how to create strong openings and closings for your work. The Explain category, this deals primarily with the thesis. It talks about the thesis, stating it, supporting it, developing it throughout your paragraphs, revising it as needed, and then using strong introductions and conclusions to both state and then re-summarize your thesis. The Convince category is generally about argumentative essays, and this tells you how to argue in context, how to state your proposition, anticipate opposition, how to expand your argument. It also gives examples of 3 argumentative appeals from classical rhetoric, the ethos, logos, pathos. And then further, what I think is interesting here is it also gives examples of traditional classical rhetorical forms for argumentative essays. So it gives the beginning learner a good introduction on how to construct an argumentative essay, what tactics are effective, and teaches them how to mimic that. The Explore category deals with exploratory essays, how to immerse yourself in the topic, try out different ideas, the learning cycle, how to use outside sources, which is another valuable tab. It teaches students about using the library, how to actually make direct observations of their topic, how to find things on the web. And if you click on all pages, it'll list all of these different categories for you. And it's got some good activities such as going to the library and locating different topics and seeing what you can find. It also deals with web searches and how give you a good array of different websites that you might be able to find some information from, as well as how to refine your search to be most effective. The last category is documentation, which basically deals with citations, how to use parentheticals, creating a works cited, and then gives a template of 10 most common MLA formats. While all this information is useful, I did encounter a few problems with this site. The first thing I encountered was the inability to actually register for an account. I tried logging in with several different browsers, which didn't seem to help. I also tried to log in with Facebook, also to no avail. Through Facebook, I contacted the admin, and I still haven't even received a response back yet. So without access to actually being able to create an account, you can't participate in some of the community activities. If you click on Get Connected, that shows you some of the things that you miss out on not having an account, such as viewing profiles, adding friends, sharing photos and videos, as well as creating and joining groups. However, without having that aspect of this activated, you can still access much of the site's context. Further, I found for the community, which I find seriously lacking on this, is if you click on my blog, and hit tags, basically it pulls up what appears to be it looks like the site has basically been colonized by a bunch of advertising sites for payday loans and things of this nature. That certainly left something to be desired. I clicked on all blogs, however, and I did find some posts from what appear to be student writers. However, the writing that's contained in these are again, not always up to what I would think they would be, and they certainly don't seem to address any of the writing stages or lessons or activities from the site. My favorite video game, for instance, is simply just a sentence. So a lot of these blogs that are listed do seem just to be people leaving commentary. There doesn't seem to be a lot of interaction. And from that, combined with the advertising presence, it seems to me that the community features of this site are seriously lacking and is arguably one of the largest things that impact my decision on whether I would use this or not. Excuse me. So therefore, while Paradigm Writing Assistant does have useful information and lessons and activities for the developmental writer, I think that the lack of community falls very short of expectation. I think that most of the information that is contained in this site could just as easily be transmitted via any common CMS with an outside blog service. I think that would provide a greater sense of community of inquiry among the students. The human element, I think, of writing instruction online simply can't be overlooked, and I think that that's the biggest drawback with this site. So combined with a lack of community as well as a lack of any sort of instructor or facilitating guiding presence, it seems as if the website was just created and then abandoned and kind of left to its own devices. Again, I think it could be useful for developmental writers, and it may be a good source to direct them if they need some activities to work on these different areas of creating a written work. But ultimately, I do think that it leaves some things to be desired. Thank you so much for your time and attention.